Each Pokemon game offers unique challenges for players to complete. Legends Arceus shows us that Pokemon like we have never seen it before, with a whole host of new challenges to overcome in order to save the day. What's good, Chaotic Nation? It's your boy Chaos here with another Best Team video. The Best Team is a full 6 Pokemon team designed to take on the challenges of a specific Pokemon game. Now, while most best teams deal with our rival, our evil team, gym leaders, Elite Four, and champions, Legends Arceus is different. This best team covers each battle you face in your journey in Hisui, since there aren't too many to be considered, as well as dealing with the Lord and Noble Pokemon. I make the stipulation with every best team that this team must be able to be used through the majority of the game, and this game's cap is set as you enter the Crimson Mirelands. I also want to note that this best team takes players to the credits of the game, or once you have captured both Palkia and Dialga, meaning the fights with Volo and Giratina, as well as the post-game battles against Adaman and Irida, are not included in this best team. You can check out all of the research for this series in the description below, as I have begun building the best team and playing through the game live on the channel, which we use to test out this team rather than just theorize what the best team is. Now, before we jump into the video, make sure you leave a like, subscribe, and check out some of the other content on the channel. With all that being said, let's dive into the best team for Pokemon Legends Arceus. Each best team begins with the choice of our starter Pokemon, as we need something to allow us to begin exploring. Hisui offers 3 really good starter recreations in Hisui and Decidueye, Typhlosion, and Samurott. The secondary typings and movesets for each of these Pokemon make them incredibly viable assets to any Hisui team. However, only one can be chosen for this best team. After comparing the data on how each of these Pokemon deal with the battles of the story of Legends Arceus, Hisui and Typhlosion barely comes out on top. This was probably the closest race between the starters, as the difference between the best and the worst starter for the game came down to only a couple of different battles. Regardless of the starter we choose, though, we will need to pick Adaman to explore the lakes with, as every starter does better against Dialga than Palkia. Also, it is so much easier to deal with Dialga than Palkia because of Palkia's typing and moveset. It's just really hard to try to deal with that Palkia. The final moveset for Typhlosion should be Flamethrower, Shadow Ball, Bulldoze, and Rock Slide. With the limitations and movesets, we need to make use of both of the attacking stats for Typhlosion, which isn't too bad considering an 84 attack stat is Typhlosion's physical attack. We can deal with that. Typhlosion lets us deal with the rivals team, Alpha Kricketune, Coin's Toxicroak, Clover's Abomasnow, Charm's Gengar with Caution, both melee fights, Ingo's Telegla, Garrick's team, Sabby's team with some Caution, Braviary's battle, Benny's team, Kamino's Braviary, both Irida battles in the battle with Adaman, Cleavor if needed, Hisui and Lilligant, Hisui and Arcanine if needed, Hisui and Electrode, Hisui and Avalugg, and Dialga if needed. Hisui and Typhlosion gives us this rare fire typing that is very hard to come by in Hisui and Sinnoh alike, making it a really great asset to this team. By far, Hisui and Typhlosion does the best versus the noble Pokemon that you will have to face in the story of Legends Arceus. One of our first Pokemon is found immediately, and is required for us to catch at the beginning of the game. You are forced by Silene to catch a Shinx, among other things, that we will add to our team, and this thing eventually becomes a Luxray. Luxray should end up with the moveset Wild Charge, Crunch, Iron Tail, and Fire Fang as its moveset. You can also run Ice Fang instead of Fire Fang, but I think there's more utility in having Fire Fang on the main moveset. However, there are a few fights that you might consider using Ice Fang instead. Luxray deals with the rivals team, Alpha Kricketune, Leon's Goomy if you teach Ice Fang, Clover's Abomasnow, Charm's Gengar, Melly's Zubat and Scorpy, Ingo's Tangela, Garrick's team, the Braviary battle, Benny's team barring Sneasler, Kamino's Braviary, Irida's team, Adaman's team, Volo's Gibble if you taught Ice Fang, Hisui and Lilligant, and Hisui and Electrode. Luxray has a lot of utility for this team and offers great coverage for the opponents that you will face. This includes paralyzing Dialga when you need to go capture it at the end of the game. I suggest using one of the other Pokemon that Luxray gets alongside of it in the catching tutorial, as Bidoof is the only Pokemon that you will really be able to use to deal with Mai's Munchlax. It's the only Pokemon that learns a fighting type move and is available before you go across the bridge. Our next team member is available right after defeating Mai. At night, you can find Zubat on Deer Track Path as you are making your way to Weirdeer. Crobat should end up with Cross Poison, Aerial Ace, Leech Life, and Zen Headbutt. Crobat helps deal with the rival's Mime, Alpha Kricketune, Coin's Toxicroak, Clover's Abomasnow, Melee's Zubat and Scorpy, Ingo's team barring Gliscor, Benny's team with some caution, Kamado's Clefable, Adaman's team, Volo's team, Kleavor if needed, and Hisuian Lilligant. Our main use for Crobat on this team is dealing with fairy types in this game, so make sure you use it as needed, and try to find some other battles to use it in as well. As we explore the Fieldlands, we can find another team member. It might take some patience, but we can just barely catch a Magikarp in the Obsidian Falls. Our Gyarados knows the moves Aqua Tail, Crunch, Iron Head, and Outrage. With these moves, Gyarados aids with Leon's Goomy if you have a Dragon move or an Ice move, Charm's team, Ursa Luna, Ingo's Gliscor, Sabby's Magmortar, and Rhyperior, the Braviary battle, Benny's Mismagius and Gardevoir, Kamado's team barring Snorlax, Irida's team, Volo's team, Kleavor, Hisuian Arcanine, and Hisuian Avalugg if needed. Gyarados is the counter to much of our ground type issues throughout this run, and is also a really strong partner for this team. Speaking of another issue we have with problems, normal types are quite abundant in Hisui, so let's grab the best fighting type we can in Machamp in Ouroboros Tunnel. Machamp can be fully evolved in this game by using a link cable item, so we do not need to worry about the usual trade that is needed to obtain Machamp. Machamp learns Drain Punch, Ice Punch, Thunder Punch, and High Horsepower as its moveset. Machamp deals with Clover's Abomasnow, Charm's Rhydon, Ursa Luna, Ingo's Tangela and Gliscor if needed, Garrick's team, Sabby's Rhyperior, Kamado's Snorlax and Golem, Irida's team, Adaman's team, Kleavor if needed, Hisuian Arcanine if needed, Hisuian Avalugg, and Dialga. Machamp doesn't do a whole lot for this team, but it does offer great utility and some really tough fights. Our final team member is the only one that does not come from the Obsidian Fieldlands, so we must wait until after we've defeated Kleavor to have access to it. This Pokemon is Teddiursa, which will evolve into the new Pokemon, Ursa Luna. Ursa Luna should have Headlong Rush, Slash, Stone Edge, and Shadow Claw as its moveset. With these moves, Ursa Luna deals with the Rivals team, Charm's team, both of the Melee battles, Sabby's battle, the Braviary battle, Benny's team, Kamado's team, Hisuian Arcanine, Hisuian Avalugg, and Dialga. Ursa Luna hits like a truck, so feel free to use it even in situations where it doesn't have the best matchup. Its other stab in normal typing can do really well against things that are not resistant against normal type moves, and makes Ursa Luna a really great option for this team. Well, that's the best team for Pokemon Legends Arceus. This was definitely one of the most difficult teams to build since we had to take a completely different approach. And the battles within the game are so few that many of our Pokemon double up and even triple up on the needs of this team. Alas, many of you requested this video, so I am really glad to oblige. I recommend checking out some of the other best team videos I have made if you are looking for a team to play some of these other Pokemon games. I've done a few best teams. I haven't completed the entire list of Pokemon games, so if you're looking for some of them, I might not have them made. Let me know if you want to see those in the comment section down below, and I'll be glad to start working on them. I hope to create many more best team videos as we continue with new games and as new fan games and new things come out that I am interested in playing. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. As I mentioned, we do the research of this series live, so check out the live streams on the channel to join us on the adventure and to make the best teams, or use it to see how the team actually works out in the actual game. I also ask that you support me on my other social media platforms, including Twitch, TikTok, Twitter, and my non-Pokemon channel, Invisible Corporations, as well as my Discord server. Those are all linked in the description down below. Thank you for watching, and until next time, I'm Chaos, signing off. Stay safe, and as always, burn it up.